Hi there, Josh here. Welcome to FramesPerSecond. Today we are here in Sydney. Doesn't really look like it, does it? But yeah, we're going to be walking around shooting some street. I've got my Canon P, and yeah, we're just going to go around, be a bit of a tourist, see what there is, and take some photos. So let's go. I know it's been a while, and sorry for that. There's just been a lot of life changes and big moves that have kind of stopped me from being able to edit videos or having time to shoot more. And so we're back. I know it's been like 3 months. Here we are in Sydney. I'm shooting Kodak P3200 on my Canon P with my Voigtlander 35. And so yeah, this was just a random, I guess it's like a rubbish bin garage that was on fire, so I thought I'd take some photos just to see how the texture looked in black and white. And here are some guys getting prepared to be shaved. This is like when I wish I had a 50mm on me, but I didn't bring one on this trip. And I have definitely fluctuated back to shooting 50mm lenses more these days, and I don't know if part of that's just because I haven't shot street a lot, so I don't feel like getting closer to people. But on this trip, which would have been in January this year, I was still shooting the 35 a lot, and I still do shoot the 35, but lately I've been more of a 50 guy. I always take 2 rolls of 3200 ISO film with me whenever I go on trips, and a lot of this is to help me get my film hand checked more, because usually they'll be like, oh, if it's under 1600 it's fine to go through the x-ray. If you have a couple rolls of 3200 ISO film, they end up checking your whole thing. At least they have with me. I haven't had any issues with hand checking, but other people seem to. So that's usually why I carry 3200 ISO film with me, also so I can shoot at higher f-stops when I'm doing street. And here obviously we had to take a photo of this cat. Now this is just on my point and shoot Ritz Ultramax, but I thought it was a worthwhile addition to show in this video because hey, it's a cat. But this shot coming up is my favorite shot of the roll, and maybe one of my favorite shots of this whole trip. And yeah, just the fact that I'm able to get this kind of shot when there's not a lot of light. It definitely looks brighter on the GoPro, but that's because the camera is like brightening up things. Some of these shots with slower film would just have like no detail going on. Now I was probably metering at 1600, and part of that is because it is natively an 1000 ISO film stock, like it's pushed in its development process. So yeah, there is no true 3200 ISO film. All those films are pushed, and it's just built into the developing process. And coming up here at the Ritz, I didn't get really dynamic shots here, but I was meant to go see a movie and then it ended up not showing for some reason, even though it was scheduled. But yeah, here you can see in the shadow detail the Ritz is still there up the top, which is pretty impressive shadow detail. And yeah, I love old theaters and cinemas, and I didn't really get to go inside, which I was hoping to, just because the movie I was seeing wasn't on anymore, which is kind of annoying. And this is kind of just like a little food market thing. I forget what it's called. Yeah, it's been almost a year since this trip, and I don't visit Cine that often, so I don't remember names of things. I do love the textured walls behind it. Originally I was wanting to do a photo shoot here, but because it was a weekend the market was on. If it was a weekday it would have been fine. But yeah, no, a lot of cool treats, and it's Sydney so they're all overpriced, but some of the stuff was nice. I do miss shooting street. I just haven't had as much time or money to do it these days, and part of that is also just trying to work a lot so that I could eventually move to Melbourne, which is where I live now. And you might have seen that in the community post I posted last week. But yeah, I like this film stock a lot. I like the contrast. I like how dark the blacks are and how white the whites are, I guess, the highlights. And I feel like, yeah, the contrast of it I like a lot better than Delta 3200, and also just the grain I just prefer as well compared to the Delta. But I will say you do get more shadow detail out of the Delta. And so if you're looking for that and like the grain, then I recommend Delta 3200. It's a good film, but I just have a preference for the TMAX 3200. And part of that is just I am a Kodak boy. But also I just like how the blacks and the highlights look on it compared to the Delta. And of course I've shot with this film before, you can go back and watch other videos on that. There's some shots on this roll that I like a lot, but I will admit a lot of them aren't the most dynamic, and some of that was me just trying to finish this roll so I could put something else on my camera because I was meant to do another shoot afterwards, which I didn't end up getting to do. And I wanted to use this camera for that. And so a lot of these aren't my strongest composition, but some of them are nice. Honestly, I just like old buildings, so obviously I had to get some shots of that. And the floor was actually looking quite nice because it had rained recently, so it had a free wet down, as us film industry people like to call it. And so I also got to catch up with my friend Irina, who was also visiting Sydney because she used to live there and she had to go see her dentist. So we caught up and went for a little walk as well. I definitely prefer Melbourne to Sydney. Sydney's got some nice stuff, but I just find it less of a city I like to explore. I'm more of a city where I just like to go see people I know or just go to the Chinatown area. But there's good stuff around. There's obviously your tourist sites like the Sydney Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. But it's nice when you can find nice moments like this couple that's just under the umbrella. But yeah, here's also where I kind of wish I had my 50mm just so I could get a bit closer. Now I know this isn't my most exciting roll, but I really just wanted to get a video up because I hadn't for like 3 months. I probably will try to get 2 out this month, but if it just ends up being 1 extra one, that might be just how it is for now. I probably won't completely go back to fortnightly quite yet. I'll probably just be maybe every 3 weeks, but we'll see how we go. Things could change, I could get busy again with work, but we'll see what happens. So that's all the time we have for today. Please let me know your thoughts on the film, the images and the camera in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe to post notifications soon when there's a new episode. I'm Josh, this has been Frames Per Second. Just get out there, shoot some film.